Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel, O.G.Starwars, and I'm your Legends girl trying to make it in this discounted world. And today's lore is from the Corellian Trilogy, and it's book 1, Ambush at Corellia here. And so this comes in a trilogy, so we're doing book 1. I was thinking about doing all 3 together, but I'm just gonna go ahead and break it down a little bit more. So this is basically, more stories about Han Solo and his family, and in here we get basically more information about the Corellia system and more information about basically his family. His children are still very young. We have the twins, Anakin and Solo, or not the twins, he's not one of the twins, but the twins, Jacen and Jaina, and then we have the youngest, Anakin Solo, in here. So we get to learn a little bit more about Anakin in the mature novels, although there are the young adult novels that you can read as well, to explore more about the Solo children. So in the story, we have Leia Solo, who is now chief of state, and she goes to Corellia for a trade summit and hoping to open up, communications and relationship between the New Republic and the Corellian system. And her family accompanies her as a vacation, so Han gets to introduce his family to where he grew up at. And so I think it's very interesting that we get to see more about Han in a sense of where he grew up at, and learn more about the system where his home planet is from, Corellia, as well. And during this time frame, as they're getting ready to leave to go to Corellia for the trade summit, Han is then addressed by New Republic intelligence officer. Her name is Kalinda, and she speaks to Han and Chewie about going undercover with the family due to the fact that there is unrest with the humans, the Dralls, and the Selonians. So we have the species that are native to the Corellia system and the humans, and there is unrest with them there as well. And as they take off and they go to Corellia, basically Kalinda is found out and her ship is shot down, but she survives that. So we have her throughout the story as well, but she does get found out and her ship does get shot down, but she survives it. Additionally, we have Leia, who hires, because she has her family with her, she hires a Drawl, male Drawl, to tutor her kids. And so this is where their adventure begins. And so basically in the book, this sets up the whole trilogy here and our understanding. So I'm not going to try to give too much information, and we'll discuss it on the coffee chats as well. So basically we have her get, the Drawl tutor for the kids, and they get to start learning about the Corellia, and its history, its lore, versus the Corellian system. And that will be slowly revealed throughout this books, throughout the trilogy here. So I won't get too much into it until we get to that point. So I'll leave that out there. So keeping some mystery in this, so that you guys want to keep reading and I don't reveal too much. And we have Lando Calrissian in the novel as well, because we really can't have Han without Lando, in a sense. That's how I see it. In a sense, even if Lando makes a small appearance, we find out that, throughout the whole lore that they are really close friends. And so Lando's in here, and he convinces Luke to go with him on his next business adventure. And that adventure is basically, he wants to find a wife. He wants to find a well-off wife, a rich wife that he can marry and use her resources to expand his businesses while making her rich. And so this is kind of off to me a little tiny bit, but then also makes sense as well, because he is a businessman. He loves women, and so he's attracted to wealth and to business adventures. And so he's seeing this as a sense of a business negotiation. So he's looking for women that are wealthy, or a woman that's wealthy that has the same virtues as him. And so he convinces Luke to go on this adventure with him. And the reason why is that he wants to make himself look more reputable to the women, especially because some people look at him in a not so positive way, even though he was a hero of the Rebel Alliance as well. So Luke goes on this with him. He reluctantly goes on this adventure with him, and Lando almost marries a life witch. And because C-3PO and R2-D2, did their research, R2 basically stops him from marrying this life witch. And I will just leave it at that on what had happened. It's interesting. It is. But this takes it on to the next woman that he's been talking to, and that's Tendra Rasant. And so this is his first encounter with Tendra. And if you know the lore, you know how significant she is to him as well. And so now we have the trade summit begins, and Leia encounters Mara Jade. So let's go ahead and take a listen to this clip about what's going on and her encounter with Mara Jade.
She pointed at the lettering peeking out from under the label. I don't read it myself, but that looks like the written form of Jawa. Jawa? Mara asked. The language of a species from Luke's home world, Tatooine. Luke was going to go meet with Lando about some business deal just before we left, Han said. Lando told me he was planning to go off on a trip before he came to the trade summit here. And my guess is that Luke decided to go along for the ride. And so he wasn't there to get the message cube, Mara said. So when they couldn't find him, they threw together a backup plan and came looking for me. It makes sense. Okay, then, Leia said. Here goes. She reached out gingerly and picked up the cube. It immediately let out a low beeping noise, and there was a loud click. The lid of the cube popped up a millimeter or two. Cue to my fingerprints, all right, Leia said. She opened the lid and took out a small black chip. Han dropped it into the slot of the player control, set into the tabletop. A display screen on the wall suddenly stopped being a heroic scene from Corellian history and went blank. And then a screen full of numbers appeared. A male human voice began to speak in Corellian accented basic. This will be your only notification prior to events. Inform no one of this message, and await instructions so as to avoid the need for further action. We will be monitoring all communications. Do not attempt to call for help. Any violation of instructions will result in an acceleration of the schedule. Han frowned. That voice almost sounded like me. Why would they want to simulate my voice? If they did want to, they didn't do a very good job, Mara said. It's close to your voice, but it's not you exactly. What are those numbers? Leia asked. Those on the right are static stellar coordinates, Han said, and with 3 extra decimal places. The Imperial Navy used to do that, but the only people who have them that accurate is the New Republic Navy. Whoever wrote this got their data from the Navy's secret data sets. If I've got this right, those are all points in a rough sphere around the Corellia star system, and the last set of coordinates is for our sun, the star Corell itself. I recognize it from setting our navicomputer on the way in. The numbers on the left are time notations in astronomical format, Mara said. The first one is about 16 standard days ago. The others are all in the future. In other words, Han said, something is going to happen in these places at these times, unless we do whatever the guy who sounds like me says in his next message.
All right, so that clip was very interesting, and I hope you caught on to exactly what's going on and how it's setting up Han Solo's family being involved with the Human League. And the Human League basically is a league of a human-centric ideological group, and this will be expanded more as we go on in the lore of the Corellian Trilogy as well. So basically the who delivers the message is basically Ferris Galisri, I guess that's the name, Galisri, I don't know if I read that right, and he is part of the Human League. And so the person who's talking on there, if you haven't guessed who it is, it's Thraken Sal-Solo. And so like I said, more information will come as we get more into the books, and then the final review of the trilogy through Coffee Chat will have a huge discussion about the not Han Solo trilogy, but the Corellian Trilogy, wrong one. And so from there, Han alerts Luke and Lando about what's going on. They were going to venture off to the trade summit as well. So as they make their way towards the Corellian system, they come across a big, huge interdictor that basically surrounds, and it would take a whole week of traveling like sub-hyperspace to get to Corellia. So basically that interdictor surrounds the Corellian system, and no, it's hard for anybody to penetrate or get in, and all communications are shut down as well. So we get the start of the Corellian Trilogy and what's to come in this book. There is some wonderful little adventures with the Solo kids. That's a good read in here, as well as their curiosity with what's going on is shown in here as well. So this book here, like I said, this book to me, I like how it sets up the Corellian Trilogy. There's a couple things I'm like, like Lando Calrissian wanting to find a wife as a business venture. Like I said, it's kind of off-putting, but it then also makes sense in it to Lando and his reasoning. But everything else in here, we have Mara Jade in here, we have Leia basically, and the kids learning a little bit more about the Corellian system, and Han, even though he is a mystery man. And I'm going to go ahead and put that clip here of her quote about Han Solo. And so I hope you guys enjoy it. So thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe, like, and share. My merch link is in the descriptions below, and the information of the Corellian Trilogy will be displayed down there as well. So please just comment if you've read the book. Let me know what was your favorite scene in book 1. If you haven't and you have any questions, leave them down below, and we will discuss this during our coffee chat on Thursday. Thank you for coming, and may the Force be with you.
Must be hard being married to a mystery man. Luke was only half joking. I bet you're looking forward to seeing where he got his start. Oh, Han's no mystery man. What you see is absolutely what you get. His past is a mystery, yes. He's never said much, and I doubt he ever will. Anyway, I don't think a family tourist trip is going to do much to shed a dazzling light on the hidden corners of his personal history. Well,